Hello, and welcome back to My Zillennial Life. Welcome to the very first episode of My Zillennial Life. I have no idea how to start a podcast, but here we are. I'm doing it. So I'm going to take this podcast episode as a chance to introduce myself, but more importantly, explain what this podcast is going to be all about. I'll explain what a Zillennial is and what that word means to me. And I'll also talk a little bit more about myself towards the end, and I'm actually going to try out the 73 question Vogue thing, which should be fun. But if you can't already tell, this is going to be a rather laid-back podcast. It's going to be something that I will hopefully do once a week, where I'll sit down and talk about whatever is on my mind that week. But if you guys have any requests, you could follow My Zillennial Pod on Instagram, and you could find me on there, DM me some suggestions. I am open to a lot when it comes to this podcast, but I'm going to go ahead and give a shout out to Mark of the Forest. That is the awesome dude who produced the song at the beginning of this episode. That's going to be my introduction song for the time being. It is a song called Second Guessing, and he recently created that. He's actually my boyfriend's roommate. So thank you, Mark, for letting me use that awesome song. And also I wanted to say that I'm still getting used to recording my voice and editing it. So if the audio in this first episode is not immaculate, that's because I don't really know what I'm doing yet, and I am still learning, so please keep that in mind. But I'm open to any critiques or suggestions as well on different ways I can improve the way that this sounds, because I always want to be improving. So now that I've already talked for like a full 2 minutes, hello, my name is Katie Legate, and I am a 25-year-old content creator, digital marketer, I don't know what to call myself, living in St. Louis, Missouri. I grew up here, I've lived here my whole life, and I have been making videos on the good old YouTube for the past 10 years. So I got my start in the digital world on YouTube in 2009, and then I went away to college and got a degree in communication studies, and now I work full-time remotely for a online fashion company called The Pulse Boutique, and I love my job, but my side gig, or whatever you want to call it, is definitely YouTube. And I always like to have like a little bit of a side hobby, not necessarily like a side income, but just a hobby of, that allows me to express myself somehow. So the reason I started this podcast, as you could probably guess, is not only because I was sort of getting bored with the whole YouTube thing. I mean, I love YouTube, don't get me wrong, but a lot has changed on that platform, but also because of the good old COVID-19. The past 5 months of 2020, if you guys are listening to this maybe in the future, you'll probably look back upon this year and, have lots of things to think about it. But anyways, it is currently August 13th, 2020, and this year has been it's been hell, honestly, for a lot of people and a lot of reasons. But throughout quarantine, I just started to realize that, well, because I'm not hanging out with my friends very much, and I like to talk, if you can't tell, it would be probably a good idea for me to start recording myself and all the things that I have to say and all the thoughts in my head. So that's where we're at right now, and that's why I came up with My Zillennial Life. And so really what this podcast is going to be about is just, like I said, whatever's on my mind. And I have some ideas planned. I have some, advice podcasts. I might do some story times from my life, or even towards Halloween, I might do some like paranormal, scary stuff. So if you think that that would interest you, then, stay tuned. And I hope you guys will enjoy this. And I'm honestly doing it because I think it'll be fun for me as well. And something new for me to try out. So, okay, so now that we've kind of gotten introductions over about who I am, I don't really think I need to tell you too much more about myself, since I am going to do the 73 questions thing from Vogue at the end, but I wanted to explain the title of this podcast a little bit and explain what a Zillennial is. So if you have not heard that word, it's not in the dictionary. It's actually on Urban Dictionary, and I can read the definition real quickly because I think that that would be helpful. To me, it means someone stuck between the generations of millennials and Generation Z. And according to Urban Dictionary, it is a microgeneration consisting of persons born 3 years before the end of millennials and or 3 years after the start of Generation Z. And so that's anyone born between the years of 1992 and 1998. And so personally, I was born in 1995, and I've always sort of felt disconnected from, a lot of the older millennials who are, I feel like, already beginning their lives with like families and kids and stuff. And then I've never fully fit in with Generation Z either because they're a little bit younger, but I can see myself in both of those generations, I guess is what I mean. And I can kind of get along with both generations. I just don't feel like I fit in one or the other, and I think that's why I definitely relate to the term Zillennial, and I thought it was a cool word, so I was like, why not make that the title of my podcast? Because I think by this definition, this very legitimate Urban Dictionary definition, I am considered a Zillennial. So here we are. So is my brother also, apparently, because he was born in 1998, just a side note. Anyways, so a Zillennial to me is just that. It's someone who kind of doesn't really feel like they fit in with either generation. I'm 25, like I said, and I just feel like my childhood is a little bit unique. I think anyone born probably like the mid to early 90s has had a unique experience growing up because we got to have a understanding of what it's like to live without technology, without cell phones necessarily, and we grew up without that, and then we hit a point like in our early teen years where we saw it all develop. Like I remember when the first iPhone came out, I remember my first cell phone, it was a Motorola Razr, and I just think those are very defining moments of someone who is a Zillennial and also someone who's a millennial as well. But Generation Z, on the other hand, I feel like if you're in Generation Z, you were born into an age of, cell phones and technology, or at least you were one of the first generations to be born into that. I look at my younger, cousins and just any of the babies that I know in my life, like I don't know how many babies I know, but I just know that the younger people are going to basically be raised surrounded by technology. And I don't think I necessarily was, but I definitely grew up on a lot of VHS movies, and eventually those turned into DVDs, and the DVDs became irrelevant. And it's just really cool to think about the way everything sort of just evolved. And it's interesting to kind of tie it into how it affected my life and somehow led me to creating a YouTube channel. And here we are. Now I'm making a podcast just in my bedroom. It's very easy to do. I feel like anyone could do it. And that's why I kind of love living in 2020, which is something I'm sure not a lot of people have said this year. But I think we're all very blessed to be in a time that is full of lots of opportunity, hopefully, for the most part, but we've got a lot of work to do, and I won't get into that right now. But anyways, so now that we've gotten past the definition of a Zillennial, and you hopefully are not tired of my voice like I am, because I've been editing my voice all day, and I really don't know if I like it at all anymore. Now that we've gotten past, the usual things, and hopefully you have a better understanding of what Zillennial means, I want to take this time to do 73 questions from Vogue magazine. I'm going to run through those. I'm going to answer them. So in case you really want to know 73 things about me, here you are. This is just for you, everyone listening right now. I'm trying to Google it right now and pull up the questions. If you guys are interested in asking me questions or sending any advice or anything, like I said, definitely check out my Instagram, and that is my Zillennial Pod. And I also have my own personal Instagram, and that is just at Katie Legate. That's my first and last name. The first question from this 73 questions on Vogue magazine. Actually, this is from aladygoeswest.com, so this is like a blogger answering these questions, so hopefully I don't mess up because her answers are right below each one, so it's kind of confusing. But The first question is, what's your favorite time of day? Personally, I love evenings. I love when the sun is setting and it's beautiful outside, especially in the summertime. 2, what's your biggest weakness? I have a hard time making decisions. I'm very contradicting, and I just really, I like to contradict myself a lot, which is not a good thing to do. 3, what's your biggest strength? I think I have a good ability of connecting with others and getting along with almost everyone. 4, what's the biggest learning experience you've ever had? Definitely back in 2016 when I went through a really bad breakup. I'll probably do an entire episode about that at some point. 5, what's your idea of a perfect date? I am a big fan of the classic dinner and movie date. 6 is, what's one vice you wish you could give up? Once again, my ability to just contradict myself a lot, and that's in the sense of like I feel like I'm always trying to please people, so I don't want to let anyone down. So if I say that I want to go somewhere, I typically will change my mind or go back and forth a lot because I can never really decide. 7, what's a cause that is important to you? Definitely women's rights. 8, what's the best compliment you've ever received? I love when anyone who has watched me on YouTube for a long time messages me, and they don't even have to compliment me. It's just the act of like messaging me and saying that they've been watching my YouTube videos for a long time. I think that's just like really a good reminder of why I love what I do. 9, when are you the most inspired? I think I'm the most inspired when I am alone and, I'm kind of recharging. I think I'm an ambivert, or someone who's like an extroverted introvert. So I like to recharge after I've had a lot of social interaction, and that's usually when I feel most inspired, in my free time. 10, sweet or savory? Honestly, these days, savory. 11, what song can you listen to on repeat? I love any classic song from like The Killers or even Queen or Elton John, but honestly, my favorite like song to listen to over and over again is probably a song from the Bleachers, and it's called Like a River Runs. It's actually kind of a sad song. 12, what makes you smile the most? My family, my friends. It's pretty cliche, I know. 13, what's one thing people don't know about you? They probably don't know about me, if they were to look at me, that I am actually pretty morbid and dark, and I love scary things, spooky things. Halloween's one of my favorite holidays. That's a question later on, I think, in this. But anyways, 14, heels or flats or sneakers? Sneakers. 15, vintage or new? Definitely vintage. 16, what are the 3 things you can't live without? My family, my boyfriend, and my cell phone. So, and when I say my family, I mean my pets and my human family. 17, window or aisle seat? Window. 18, what's your current favorite TV character obsession? I really love Klaus from the Umbrella Academy. 19, leather or lace? Probably leather. 20, what's the most adventurous thing you've done in your life? I studied abroad in Greece, Athens, Greece, back in summer 2015. So that's probably the most adventurous thing I've done. 21, what would you how would you define yourself in 3 words? I would say I am goofy, little bit, I guess, like expressive. And number 3 would probably be, gosh, that's a hard one. I'm supposed to answer these quickly. Okay, personable. 22, what's your current favorite piece of clothing that you own? I am really obsessed with biker shorts right now, and I just have some from Walmart, and they are lovely. 23, what's a must-have clothing item everyone should own? I think everyone should definitely own a good pair of white sneakers, because I feel like that's just a really good classic, shoe that you could pair with a lot of things. So, white, chunky sneakers. 24, what's inspiring you in life right now? All of the people that have started new projects during quarantine, all of the people who are doing something new in their life this year because of the circumstances we're in. 25, what's the best piece of advice you've received? Ever? Of all time? Probably don't settle. 26, what's your pet peeve? I don't know, it depends on the circumstances. Oh, I don't like slow walkers. 27, diamonds or pearls? Diamonds. 28, what's something you noticed What's something you notice about someone when you first meet them? Most likely what they're wearing. I like fashion, so 29, what's your biggest regret? My biggest regret, that is a good question. Probably the fact that I only studied abroad in Greece for 5 weeks and not an entire semester. 30, what's heavily played on your music playlist right now? Taylor Swift's Folklore album. She just dropped that a few weeks ago, and I've been loving it. 31, what's your favorite board game? Cards Against Humanities, probably. Or Cards Against Humanity. And then the next question is, I also wanted to mention, guys, my mini fridge is on in my room and it's kind of loud, so hopefully I'll be able to fix that. 32 is, what's your guilty pleasure? Most likely just spending way too much time on TikTok. 33, what book did you most recently finish? I don't read a lot, but currently I'm reading my friend Brandon's book, and you can get it on Amazon. It's called Self-Preservation by Brandon Bethel. And the next question is, what are you currently reading? And that's the same answer. I'm still reading his book. I'm almost done with it. 35, how do you start your day? I definitely start my day. I wake up and the first thing I do is get on my phone, which I know is really bad for you, but I always start my day with a cup of coffee and lots of water. 36, what's your favorite holiday? Mine is definitely either Halloween or Christmas. Question 37 is, if you could raid one woman's closet, who would it be? Most likely Taylor Swift or Miley Cyrus. 38, if you could switch lives with one person for a day, who would it be? Probably Taylor Swift. 39, what's one thing you've always wanted to try, but you've been too scared to do? Actually, I don't know. That is a good... Oh, make a song. I really want to sing and make like one song and see if it's possible. I would need the help of some friends, but it's something that I'm a little too scared to do. 40. What's the one thing you wish you knew at the age of 19? Oh, if I could go back and tell 19-year-old Katie that the boy she was going to meet her first year at college would end up cheating on her several times, then I would totally tell her. Maybe. Or maybe not. 41. Besides your phone or wallet, what's a couple of must-have purse items? Right now, it's definitely a mask. I have a whole collection of cute little masks because I like to wear a mask, and you should too. But yeah, definitely mask, chapstick, gum, sunglasses, those things. 42. If you were not a YouTuber or a digital marketer, what would you be doing? So if I was not working my full-time job as a digital marketer, I would most likely be doing something else in the communication realm, but I don't really know. I kind of thought before college I was going to go into broadcast journalism, so maybe I would be doing that. 43, what's something you can't do? I'm not a very good runner or exerciser. I'm just not very athletic or competitive. 44, where was the best vacation you've ever taken? So if you consider studying abroad a vacation, which I kind of do, then that was definitely the best, which was Greece. But then also had a really fun time last summer in Destin, Florida with my friends. 45, what's one city you've always dreamed of traveling to? Oh, that is a good one. So if it's in America, then I already went to New York and LA, and those were my two dreams. I would love to go overseas and go to anywhere in Italy or maybe even Paris, France, which is just very, I feel like, basic, but I definitely want to go there someday. What's something you always travel with? My laptop and snacks. 46, what's something you... Oh, I just answered that one. Oops. 47. Favorite food. This is easy. I love pasta of any type. And I love pizza. And I love potatoes. That was 3 answers. I'm sorry. 48. Favorite dessert. I either love ice cream or cheesecake. 49. Favorite snack. Hot Cheetos. Or if I'm going the healthy route, I love fruit of any kind. 50. What's a movie that made you cry? Any of the classic, really sad movies like the Titanic or, I don't know, Marley and Me. That's not really a classic, but that was a sad one. 51, what's your favorite movie of the last 5 years? Okay, I don't even remember the last movie I saw in theaters, that is, because of the pandemic, but Yeah, probably The Joker, which was actually, that might have been the last movie I saw in theaters. The newest Joker. 52. What's the one talent you wish you had? I, like I was saying earlier, am not athletic, so I wish I was more competitive and more athletic. And 53 is not a good question for me, but it's what's your favorite exercise? I really like Chloe Ting on YouTube. I discovered her this past year, and I love her workouts. I don't do them very often, but I do love them. 54 is what's your favorite band? If we're talking newer bands, I really love the Bleachers. The lead singer is Jack Antonoff, and if you don't know who he is, you should definitely look him up. He writes a lot of music for some of the biggest singers ever. 55, what's your favorite fast food order? I really love Cane's. That's my current favorite. I just get like the 3-finger combo. But I also love anything spicy. So any place that has spicy chicken, I'm going to enjoy. 53 or 56 is what's something you don't want to be doing in 10 years. I hope that in 10 years I am, doing a job that I still really enjoy. So I hope that I'm not settling. 57. What's the cutest thing on planet Earth? Probably my dog and my cat, Izzy and then Alexander. 58. What's the best thing that happened this year? Well, that's interesting because this year has definitely been a rough one, not only for me, but I feel like for the entire world as a whole. We are living through a pandemic. But the best thing that has happened to me this year is probably, I don't know, getting the inspiration to start this podcast maybe, but also if we're talking like actual things that really made my year better, this is gonna sound ridiculous, but if you're aware of the YouTuber David Dobrik, my boyfriend actually had David send me a little bit of birthday money back in April because I wasn't going to be able to, I guess, celebrate my birthday, and that was a big surprise, and I love David Dobrik, so that made my entire year. Which is, I know it sounds silly, but it really did. It was really nice of my boyfriend and David Dobrik to do that. And the next question is 59. What's your favorite cocktail? I'm a big fan of just a gin and tonic or a margarita. 60. Which movie makes you laugh the hardest? Most likely any movie that has Will Ferrell in it. 61. What do you usually eat for dinner? I was saying earlier I really love pasta, so I'll usually do something with carbs, which I'm not really sure if that's good, but I like carbs. 62, what do you usually eat for lunch? I usually will go lighter for lunch and have a salad or a sandwich. 63, what do you usually eat for breakfast? I love eggs, or if I'm in the mood for something sweet, I will have oatmeal. And I also really love bagels with cream cheese. Oh my goodness, I don't know if you could hear that, but it's thundering outside. I love that, but I also don't love that for the sake of this podcast. Anyways, if you can't tell, I like to talk, but we are almost done here, and now we're on to question 64. What's your favorite thing in the world? I personally am a huge fan of bubble baths, and so I take a bath almost every night. 65. What's your favorite color? Probably pink. 66. What color clothing do you wear the most? I wear all kinds of different colors, so that's a hard one to say, but black is definitely one of my favorite colors to wear. The next question is really hard for me to answer because I really do love where I live, and it is 67. What are 3 words to describe living in the St. Louis, Missouri area? And where I live specifically is a suburb, so I think the first word is convenience because I live close to a lot of different stores, and the second word would be fun, and the third word would be opportunity because I think there is a lot of opportunity here in St. Louis. It's a very growing city. It has a lot of potential. It really does, but I feel like people constantly give St. Louis crap and they think it's very dangerous when really it's not. 68, do you like surprises? I love them. 69, what's one thing you had to learn the hard way? Most likely that you should not trust everyone. 70, what's something you're tired of? I'm tired of conspiracy theories on Instagram and social media in general right now. It's just a really toxic place. I'm tired of 2020. 71, what do you turn to, or who do you turn to when you're sad? I guess it could be what as well, but who do you turn to when you're sad? My boyfriend, most likely, or my mom. 72, what's a trend you would like to see disappear forever? I actually really don't have anything against any trend right now. I love almost all the fashion trends for the most part. I guess I'm not a huge fan of animal print, but I am still kind of loving it. So I really love all trends. So that's hard for me to say. And the last question is, what did you want to do with your life at the age of 12? When I was 12, I actually think I wanted to be a broadcast journalist, a TV news reporter. And that is the last question. So we will kind of end on that note, I guess. And it is really thundering outside. I keep picking the worst times of day, apparently, to record this first episode. But we made it through. And I really hope you guys enjoyed me basically talking about myself for a whole 25 minutes. But really, I promise not every episode is going to be just about me. I do plan to do some storytelling, and I also have the idea that if you guys ever want to send in your like juicy stories, maybe your scary paranormal stories or like crazy stories, you could definitely do that. Just let me know on Instagram, and then I can like send you a place, like an email or something that you can send them to. But yeah, that's just an idea. I have so many ideas, and I really hope that you guys enjoyed this first episode. I hope you enjoyed listening, and I won't see you. I always say that at the end of my YouTube videos. I will talk to you in my next episode of my Zillennial life. Thank you so much for tuning in. Bye, everyone.